Hey everybody, this is going to be the next job we're starting. We got to dig out the underneath of this barn, put a driveway in, which there's a pretty good, like small, I guess you'd say, I call it a yard pond to deal with the water that goes across the yard. We got to figure out a way of coming across that. But I'll show you underneath here. All this concrete's coming out. We're going to dig this down. Probably put, I don't know, 3 to 6 new beams in, better footings. But we're gonna be doing everything from dragging these vehicles out to ripping all this concrete out. I think what we're gonna do is dig it out and bring some 3/4 stone in and just put stone. But all this stuff's coming out. The homeowner's taking most of this stuff out. I just got to drag the vehicles out and anything that's heavy. But before we get here, this is the other bay. We're going to try to get these vehicles out of here without hurting them. She has a neighbor that's a carpenter that decided to do some of the rotted sill and whatnot. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be, I believe I'm gonna be dealing with all the stuff in here as far as the 6. I'm gonna stick right with what he's doing, just a 6x6 pressure treated. I think I'm gonna suggest putting a couple extras in. I believe 2 vehicles get parked upstairs of this barn too, but the idea is she wants to be able to store some of her antique cars down here and have a little bit better environment. So but this is where we're headed, and to get here we got to figure out a way. All this, there's a little footbridge to walk across, but the water this year is just incredible. We've been getting rain and rain. It's just last month we had 22 days of rain, which broke records. There's some pretty good standing water in there, but we gotta, where the excavator's parked, out to the wood pile, we're gonna be digging that out, putting gravel in, coming across. And we'll figure that out when we get here, how bad the water's going to be. The water goes from here over to there and then goes out through the woods, but we're going to try to drag the vehicles out onto that basketball court. But all this is probably going to get grubbed out. There's a pathway that goes from here up to the road. We're probably going to figure out something for, it's dry right now, but I guess that does run pretty good water in the spring. I'm actually surprised it shouldn't say it's dry, it's real muddy, but the water's in the ground. Well, I think once I start grubbing this out, we're going to have a pretty good area that we got to deal with the water. But we're going to be going out through here. These timbers are the mark, that's where the leach field is. So this is the safe area to have the driveway. But I'm going to try to, this is an invasive plant that's in New Hampshire, in Maine. It's actually taken over that telephone pole, so we're going to try to grub this out. This is where she wants to be able to drive in with the antiques anyway, so we're going to try to grub this out so we can get in and out of here better. But I'm going to start here this morning. I just figured I'd start the video. I already started, but we're gonna grub out. I'm still gonna start over there, but the machine was here, so I'm just reaching around to see how bad this water crap is gonna be. That brush that's in front of us now actually is like a pond with a walking bridge across it, but I still want to grub some of that stuff out while I'm right here. They're actually talking more rain this week, and I'm like, I think this is gonna get nothing but worse as far as working in it, so just grub that out and see what's in there. pretty rocky base here, which is good. You'll see in front of us, I got that old brush pile, all that invasive weed away from that telephone pole. She may want to go further in that, I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, but right now we're just gonna try to pick up a few more loads of this. It's so wet and heavy. It's like, it's clay too on top of that, so it's real heavy. Good way of doing this. I'm just trying to back out. There's a good chance I'm not going to be able to get back in here. I'll have to go over there. I'm going to try to not mess with the lawn too much. I want to try to do some type of retention pond here that doesn't look like crap too. So the outside edge of over there, I think you're going to find will grow in pretty fast with just ferns and everything else. Back in the day when someone did a retention pond, they normally just used a rock that came off a grizzly or a screener, and I believe that's what the whole bottom of this is going to be. But might be a couple loads of this I'll stick in the manure pile of the screen later on, but for the most part I think this is going to be crap. A lot of old brick in there too, I'm seeing. I want to take a quick shot this morning and show you where we're at. A little more water than I thought we were going to have, but we'll deal with it. And it rained last night, but this is what you deal with sometimes. Old culvert that was in it. I'm going to try to set as much rock aside, but just want to show you these are pretty heavy loads going out of here, but just it kind of, I cleared that up, but you end up just to turn around with a trailer. So you end up doing a little bit of yard work or lawn work just to do your job. I got a couple more loads of muck to haul off, and then I'm going to try to haul some gravel in, enough to where we can get this crossing done, throw some culverts in it. The driveway I actually got to do, I don't think I'm going to do. I'm going to do it as we work our way out. It's pretty messed up already, what I got to dig out anyways, but I originally was going to do the driveway first to get out here, but it ain't helping that with this part of New Hampshire just keeps getting rain. Yesterday I was doing a driveway on another job, and just it poured out, so I actually had to just sit in the tractor for like 10 minutes, but you couldn't even see with the windshield wipers on. Kind of irritating. It's getting old, it's getting hard. Making jobs like this way more difficult too. You're messing up half of it. Just how I had to get in here is difficult, and having sopping wet ground isn't helping. My dump truck's down right now, so I'm using the trailer, but the trailer works out good anyways. But when you're loading with an excavator like this, it's lower to the ground, and that actually does haul more of a payload than a 1-ton dump. So it might look like I'm putting a pretty hefty load on this, but it seems to handle it pretty good. videos where people are playing around with these trailers and they'll complain about it, then you watch them load it and they think it's a 10-wheeler because the box is so big. They don't realize it. If you're hauling bark mulch, that's fine. You're hauling something like this, you gotta, this trailer will haul 4 to 5 yards of about whatever you put on it, no matter how wet it is. And that's about it. It will dump more, but it doesn't like it. You can tell, I can tell by what the pump sounds like how much I want to put on a trailer. And a case like this, I'm pushing it a little bit because I'm only not even a mile from my house, so I don't mind. And that's why I'm dumping it on one of my extra lots to let the water come out of it. But I'm going to haul 1 or 2 more loads of this off, and then I'm going to probably bring back some gravel off the screener that I made up and put as a base. I basically want to get to where that pond in front of us is, and then figure out where we're going to put the culverts. The other side where the barn is, I've got to fill in towards the pond. I only want this pond probably 12 feet wide on either side when I'm done. Well, I'm going to say 12 to 16 feet, but it has to be, there has to be enough room in front of that garage to get in with a vehicle, so we got to make a pretty good flat area in front of that so she can get vehicles in there. I mean, I was hoping it was going to dry up a little bit so I could get those vehicles dragged out. I've got to put them on the other side of the yard. I just don't want to mess her yard up. It's all nice grass, but we're going to try to get them over where that basketball court is in front of me, because it's concrete, and leave them there until the garage gets done, because when I'm done digging it out and the carpenter and me are going to be done putting supports in it, and it's going to have someone come spray foam it, so the cars are probably going to be out here for a while. Bug spray on this stuff, this muck from the pond, just the bugs that are coming with it. I leave the bed up a little while too, because this mud stuff, it takes a minute for it to all slide out. Getting to be a pretty good pile of crap, but believe it or not, a lot of this is gonna scream once this gets the water out. I'll probably let it sit here till this fall, but a lot of this I'll probably screen and put it into the manure pile. This will make a real good loom for next season. I've always found stuff you dig out of a pond or any wet area, you got to let it dry for like a year sometimes. But this stuff here, I mean, sitting up here through August, this stuff will dry. This pile will dry out if we stop getting rain. It's just crazy. But I'll also, if I'm mixing up, if I'm screening something out, I might come up here and grab a load of this to mix in. But I just figured I'd show you. This is what we do, and this is where my easy screen comes in handy. There's a lot of that pile that's real good material. The stuff I've dug off the edges of the road, which most of the time is a lot of, like this past winter, we pushed off a lot of good 3/4 gravel off the road. So it's worth screening. I screen everything pretty much. Very little I don't run through that screener. We're going to take another shot. I've got some more boulders here. Got a landing on this side. We're going to put the culverts in. Try to make enough of a landing on the other side. I'm not going to get too crazy because this is a Friday and they're talking heavy rains most of the weekend. So I'm going to try to go around this pond with some more of these boulders. But I just figured I'd take a shot where we're at. We got the 2 culverts in. The drain on the right, we got to put a new culvert from here to the edge of the property. I was hoping that little pipe that was in there would work, but it doesn't work. So these are filling basically to the top, but I think we'll be fine through the weekend. This is pretty much the same stuff that underneath that barn. Just rock that came off a screening plant one time or another. I think this will make a good base. When we're done, she wants this a little higher than the rest of the yard anyways, like almost like a effect of a bridge, I guess. I think it'll look nice. think she was quite expecting the, looks like a bomb went off right now. It's just the way it works sometimes. I even got a little, it's just been so rainy and muddy, but you can see to the left of me, that's just black. That was all sumac and some other nasty weeds that she didn't want. So, not just putting this in, I cleaned up some areas that were kind of crappy. I'm gonna go home and grab some 3/4 road pack to put over this. And then Monday, hopefully, we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain this weekend. I don't know what kind of mess that's going to create back here. I'm half tempted to dig that ditch just to let that water run across, but I don't want to run into that. He says he thinks there's a chance there's a septic pipe that I'm going to have to go under with the culvert, which is going to make it a little interesting. I want that low enough so that I can put some 3/4 gravel on top of it, though, grading into this. Basically, this was a pond all the way across, so this is going to be a little soft for a few days just to drive the water out of it. I'm putting some good material up top. Well, if this was a big area, I'd probably put some plastic down, but this is basically going to be so she can get some ties in the basement. Alright, I just brought in a couple loads of gravel. Some of it's stuff I mixed up. I don't have any 1.5 inch at the house right now, so I took some stuff I screened. It was kind of sandy, and put some 3.5 inch rock in it, and then I mixed up, cleaned up a couple other piles that are around. Most of it's 3/4, but I'm going to try to get a base on this where the culverts are before the weekend. Dumped that load. I had the camera on, but then when I got in the excavator, the battery's dead. Oh, it always goes. Just unbelievable this year, the amount of rain we're getting. Last month was 22 days we had some type of rain, either an all-day event or downpours. But the ground just, it's getting difficult. I think today I'm going to try to get one more load of stuff here and spread it. Hopefully this will stay together. I'm going to put French drains in the basement of that barn that will come out into these retention ponds too. But you can see I dug the grass off the top of that this morning, probably less than an hour and a half ago, and it's already got water, standing water and stuff. It's going to be interesting. Probably will compact this sometime next week just to push the water out of the bottom into these ponds once I get that culvert so this releases. So she's going to have construction guys coming in once I'm done digging that out. I'm going to be in and out of here a lot. Where the truck and trailer are sitting right now, we're digging that probably a foot down the width of my trailer all the way out, so she has a path to come in here with the antique cars when we're done, so she's not sinking in the lawn. I probably got to bring in another 12 to 15 yards just to get this up with the grade of the yard. This is just, we had a lot of rain over the weekend, but I thought about putting a foundation drain in the barn. When we ripped that concrete out, the little bit of concrete, we're going to put stone in, but I'm going to have foundation drains come out, and there's like a I mean, it was almost like a spring right here. So what I did is I put a double foundation drain rigid pipe, and it's a day after the storm, but I mean, it's actually, I didn't think it would run the minute I put it in, but I think that's gonna be a pretty good move. And the elevation change between here and the barn, I'm gonna probably fill this corner with stone and put the foundation drains coming out of that barn into the stone. I'll probably have a good foot, 18 inches of stone over the top of it, so it shouldn't be an issue. And then I'll probably put some fabric over it so we can put a little bit of gravel so she can get the cars in and out. I think this is 4 days in right now, and I'm just getting to the barn. This is what I had to do. You'll see where my trailer's sitting. I put a double 14-inch culvert across this. We didn't think the culvert, it ain't a culvert, it's a couple of 4-inch pieces of drain pipe. But this, we had 2 inches of rain yesterday, which filled this up enough to blow that pipe out. It actually cleaned it out. So I think what I'm going to do to save us some money is, like, let's see, I'm going to make this pond on either side of this entry smaller, and I'm going to see if this will accept the water and that will unload it quick enough, because it can come up, I'm going to say foot or better before, once I get done filling this roadway in. All the land around this pond is probably foot to 18 inches higher, so it can fill up quite a bit before it would go out onto the lawn. I think that pipe will accept it, because I mean, we probably got 2 inches of rain yesterday in 8 hours. So, and I came here this morning expecting it to be a mess, and it really wasn't. It's just this one spot is running pretty good. So, and I guess that's a normal thing in the spring too, when the snow melts off, this bank kind of oozes out. But this stuff here I'm going to let dry up a little bit so I can shape it. I'm probably going to move that. Like I said, I want to make this pond a little smaller, so I'm going to take some of that loomy stuff and move it forward so that we got a good apron here to pull the car in. But I just figured I'd take a shot where we're at. Walk over here, get a little bit better angle. Like I said, this grass is actually got standing water. This is the low part of the yard. I think what I'm going to do is put more loom here to pitch the water away, because once I fill in front of this barn with this gravel, that gravel is going to be 8 or 10 inches higher than this grass. Rather than roll it down, I think I'm going to roll the grass up to it to push the water away. So, but I just figured I'd do a shot. Still got some stuff to move before we get into that barn. I'm going to try to drag the 2 cars across this grass area, but it's just too soft today. I'm hoping, they're talking rain. There's a chance of rain every day this week again, so it's a crazy thing. This has been way more of a project than I thought. There's just I weren't expecting there to be 18 inches of loom. so I got the entryway I'm bringing in here, I'm going to have to dig down probably 1.5 feet anyways to get down to gravel. Then I'll put a good base in so she can drive in through here. I'm going to spread a little more gravel. I put the foundation drains in front of these doors that I can connect. I'm going to put a drain coming out of each door into this too. So I got plenty of stone in the ground. So today we're going to finish filling this, and then I'm probably going to bring some more boulders in to go around these ponds. I'm hoping this muck right here is solid enough so I can move it around a little bit. And I actually want to move that towards the pond a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, we got the foundation drains in to this point. I think what I'm going to do for the rest of today is, so from here out, we got the ponds. I'm going to go get some, probably 2 or 3 loads of the boulders, place them around this side of the pond, finish up that side. I don't think I'm going to bring any more gravel until we do the front of the garage here, but we're going to probably put this apron another 6 feet over that way to get up out of that water. I guess this has always been wet. Over here is where the even way up there. It's where the carpenter's been parking his truck and he's sinking in. So, but we still got to clean up. Still got to scrape all that loom. I'm hoping the loom gets thinner as we get closer to the building, but I mean, over here I had to take out, you know, I thought it was going to be 1 foot or so. It's probably more like 18 inches of organics. but I want it so she can back in here with a vehicle without sinking in. Normally you give water an easy path to take, it takes it. So, but this is compacted in with the weight of the excavator. I'm not going to use a compactor. I was originally going to, but that's just going to make the water come right to the top. This over here, I think I'm just going to dress with some good loam, seed it, so he can mow it later on. We still got to do a pathway up through from here up to that upper driveway too. Other than that step, she wants us to bring the dogs down through, I believe is what it is. So, but this is a overview so far, and I mean, it's I just didn't think it was going to look quite like a bomb went off here like it is. But I want to try to put the boulders around the outside of the pond, like this side over here, just to so that stops dirtying up the water. I'd like to get this settled down, clean out the ends of the culverts real good, maybe put some stone just around those. But that pipe over there that was plugged is now completely unplugged, so I'm going to suggest using the money elsewhere. And if it's a problem later on, we'll dig that up and put a bigger culvert in. But I think it's a waste of money right now, when you got all the money to throw at the front of this garage. And the elevation change from that garage to this driveway is quite a bit. I'm going to leave it a little bit different, but you also don't want an older vehicle, like let's say it doesn't start and you want to push it out, you don't want it taken off, so you don't want a big transition. Another load of gravel. We got a path made for the driveway. That's all the old grass and stuff that I dug out of the roadway to lift that up, so that I'm trying to force the water that comes down off the road up there. There's a stream that goes there, but it wasn't really cut in, so water would just come out into this field. So this is actually lifted probably 8 to 12 inches, and then we got the ponds. But we're going to continue digging up here this morning. I'm going to move the rest of these tires and stuff out of the way, but I want to get the rest of this organic material out of here and get it set up so Monday I can come start doing the concrete. Still got a low spot here. Again, I might just smooth that out, seed it. That water, I think what we're going to do is put a 6x6 beam across here, just to keep this solid where she's pulling the cars in and out. That right there, the water will end up in this pond. All right, we're gonna wrap this part one of the video up. We're up to, we got the retention ponds in, and we're up to the barn. So the next video will be going in, getting these cars dragged out.